289 days ago, we saw a motorsport comeback of the ages complete, as Alonso set himself a goal to come back from retirement to compete at the front of Formula 1 once more. This dream quickly became reality under the lights in Yas Marina, and today he joins 19 other drivers as the defending champion as he attempts to join the elite roll call that can call themselves 4-time world champions. We've also got 4 DRS zones coming up for you around Albert Park. That is our location for our opening contest of the year. What a great place it is for a race which has the C5, the C4, the C3, the soft, mediums and hard. We will also use the inters. That's what we'll be starting the race on after some rain has come down. It is now stopped, but the circuit is damp. And if it's going to be as close as it was last year, where it was separated by 1 point between Alonso and Verstappen, we're going to be in for some season ahead. More races, 12 in total, and we've also got a few sprints thrown in there as well, along with some new drivers on the grid. And in 20th position, we immediately see one of them. His name is Isaac Hadjar. He's the Vice Formula 2 champion from last year. Nico Hülkenberg is in 19th. Yuki Tsunoda finally gets his promotion to the big team. He's in 18th. Jack Doohan, after sitting on the sidelines for a year, gets his promotion to Formula 1. Ollie Behrman is in 16th. He is alongside Carlos Sainz, who moves over to Williams, and he starts in 15th for this race. George Russell is alongside his teammate Andrea Kimi Antonelli, who goes from 13th. The highly anticipated driver made his debut, of course, with us in Abu Dhabi, a race which saw Fernando Alonso become champion. He manages Gabriel Bortoleto, who's the reigning Formula 2 champion, and he goes from 11th. Esteban Ocon is in 10th. Gasly was the driver who was a brilliant winner in Las Vegas last year, and Lance Stroll is directly ahead in 8th position. Alexander Albon still with Williams, and he is in 7th place. Lando Norris is in 6th for McLaren, and then it's Charles Leclerc in 5th, the driver who was a contender for the title last year. He had to settle for 3rd. A great performance from Liam Lawson, who will start in 4th position. Lewis Hamilton, the fairy tale story of moving to Ferrari, sees him go from 3rd today. It's Oscar Piastri, who shares the front row from Max Verstappen, trying to become the world champion. 3, 4, 5. And for the new season, it's race on! Great start for Max Verstappen, chopping across Oscar Piastri immediately to maintain the lead into turn number 1. Hamilton roaring by as we go side by side for the lead. Verstappen is going to be beaten by Oscar Piastri, who takes the lead at the front of the field. Leclerc sees his teammate Lewis Hamilton now large in the mirrors. Liam Lawson has dropped down a couple of positions, but a great start from the Papaya McLaren, who charges past the Red Bull to lead in the opening sector of our championship. Max Verstappen in 2nd place will now try and regroup and fight back. Leclerc and Hamilton in 3rd and 4th, looking strong for Ferrari. Norris improves a position as well as we ride on board with Lewis Hamilton immediately on the back, and we see the drivers on the intermediate compound of tyres on this damp circuit. Hamilton immediately trying to go on the attack to see whether he can put some pressure on his teammate Verstappen, closing in on Oscar Piastri. Cannot do anything though. Meanwhile, we now look to see Alonso putting some pressure on the driver that he manages. What a battle that will be as we look to the front. Max Verstappen to the outside has to settle in behind and is going to stay in 2nd place for the moment. This is the moment that saw the lead change at turn number 1. Oscar Piastri from 2nd place found himself seeing the chop from Max Verstappen. He knew that he had to place the car on the outside. Placed it on the outside, he did. Committed all the way, using the curb, getting his foot to the floor, and leading by the time that we went down to turn number 3. That is how you race up against Max Verstappen. You need to get your elbows out. You need to make sure that you're not leaving anything on the table. What a brilliant start to the season for Oscar Piastri after his disappointing finish in 9th last year. Okay, Lewis Hamilton found himself in 4th. Liam Lawson was the car ahead, and let's see how that happened as we made our way through. So it was a great getaway from Charles Leclerc, actually, I should say rather, who was able to roar his way by and move up to 3rd position. So Charles Leclerc moving through from 5th, and he found himself being able to get ahead of Lawson and also his teammate Lewis Hamilton at that moment. So incredible stuff there coming in for Charles Leclerc. The top 2 are just making their way through in formation at this stage. Leclerc now having to regroup. Let's take a look at a replay. This is from on board with George Russell, has his new Mercedes teammate alongside. Not for much longer though, because that's not the getaway that he wanted at all. Carlos Sainz was immediately challenging. He got past Russell, then he was challenging his teammate directly ahead as he went around the outside of Kimi Antonelli. Carlos loving the life at Williams in terms of the race start. Will not be happy to see his former team in third and fourth at the moment though. As we make our way through. What an absolutely incredible start it was. Well, he may have lost the lead, but he is absolutely going to work, but is about to get some pressure applied by Charles Leclerc. These two had contact in Las Vegas. Verstappen isn't going to worry about Leclerc. He's going to go for the lead. Around the outside he attempts, but the wide line will see the Scarlet Ferrari roar through to second place. Charles Leclerc gets past Max Verstappen, and these two rivals continue their battle in this new season, which now sees Verstappen and Hamilton together on the circuit with Leclerc just ahead. This was it, Verstappen going for the lead of this race. Piastri placing the car perfectly. Verstappen having to rethink about his ideas, and in the process seeing Charles Leclerc go by, and now we'll be worried about Lewis Hamilton in behind. What a start to the season. Intermediate compound, drying circuit, and exactly what Leclerc wanted from 5th on the grid. This is lap number 3 of the contest, and Charles Leclerc pushing Oscar Piastri through. And now there is going to be a big chance for Charles Leclerc to take the race lead. Oscar Piastri defending. Well, we've already seen a car on the outside through this part of the circuit. It didn't work out for Max Verstappen. For Charles Leclerc though, better traction, power applied. Does he take the lead? Wait for it, he's emerging in front. Charles Leclerc takes the lead. A brilliant overtake to hit the front of the field. Oscar Piastri drops down to second place. Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton continue their watch in this battle. Norris is also there, so is Alexander Albon. 6 cars in this train at the front of the field, which sees Oscar Piastri fight back immediately to turn number 1, where he took the lead on lap number 1. Won't be able to take the lead back from Charles Leclerc on lap number 4 though. The Monegasque driver has it for the moment. What about in a couple of meters? What a battle to start this new season. As I mentioned, more races, and if we're going to get this action for all of them, we're going to be in for some season. Well, here we go then. This is where it gets interesting. We knew it was going to be a quick change. The change is coming now. It's a 2.5 second pit stop for Charles Leclerc, who was our race leader. He now becomes our net race leader. As you can see, he's in 5th. Oscar Piastri 4.1. Max Verstappen 5.1. So it's all changing very quickly. Not the best of stops from Piastri, Verstappen and Stroll. Exactly though what Charles Leclerc wanted at the front of the field. Extraordinary stuff. We are taking a look at Max Verstappen, and he is putting the pressure on Oscar Piastri. Here we go then. He's going to look to the outside line. Can he get by? It's wheel to wheel between Max Verstappen and Oscar Piastri. This is for 3rd position at this stage, and he's going to send his Verstappen all the way around the outside, and he finalizes the move that he couldn't do earlier on. We're only on lap number 6, and already the highlights reel is getting to a long time. We are seeing a battle on the circuit. That is going to be George Russell looking to see whether he can defend, and rather Antonelli trying to see whether he can defend, and Antonelli being passed. To the inside goes Esteban Ocon. They're going to be side by side. What a battle this is between these two drivers. Antonelli getting his elbows out, Ocon having to get out of it, and that is exactly what the rookies are able to do. That's exactly the talent that they have. And now you're going to see Carlos Sainz, who's going to also make the move into turn 1. Possibly Antonelli will be loving this battle now, because he can go further up the road while they battle for these positions. They scramble all over the road, and Ollie Behrman now sees his teammate lose a position rather than gaining one. That's how quickly it can change. Gasly closing in with DRS. Liam Lawson, who found himself starting in 4th, now dropping down the order. Gasly charges around the outside. A super move from the French driver to move up to 8th position. We love moves around turn number 9. On board we go. This is going to be sensational. Flicks it to the outside. Later on the brakes. Turns in like he wasn't even passing a car to the inside there. That is how you overtake at turn number 9. Here we go. Ollie Bearman is going to try and get past his teammate, and he's going to make the move around the outside. Incredible stuff. Oliver Bearman showing who's boss down at Haas, immediately coming into the team and immediately trying to take charge. Here we go. Oscar Piastri closing to the outside. Did you see the overspeed there? The overspeed that sees the Australian driver move up to 3rd position. Oscar Piastri flies past Max Verstappen, and nothing Max could have done there. He now gets the chance to fight back. DRS wide open, closing in. Around the outside it'll be a carbon copy, but this time it's the Red Bull who charges on by. Verstappen retakes 3rd position in the race. Superb battling between these two. We're loving moves at turn number 9 today. We're about to get another one coming our way, and around the outside goes Lance Stroll, and Lance Stroll gets past Alexander Albon. That's the move for 5th and 6th taking place in front of your eyes. Kind of looked like he backed out of the throttle. He was debating whether he wanted to go for it into turn, and maybe he was thinking, let's just sit back, but then he changed his mind, just kept the foot down and got past. Lewis Hamilton finds himself very much down the order, and an engine failure surely up ahead. And that is going to be Kimi Antonelli in his 2nd race when it comes to the fantasy season. He's going to find himself retiring. What a big disappointment for him. That is going to be the smoke. Well, we saw it first. We were trying to work out who it was. And it was Kimi Antonelli, unfortunately. As Ocon went on by. Smoke out of the back. As Hamilton went through. That has to hurt. He's now part of Mercedes, of course. Okay, lap number 23. Incident involving Lewis Hamilton has been noted. Overtaking under the yellows. Fernando Alonso, our reigning champion, has got to work. And has got to work. Surely. Getting through on Alexander Albon. And now Lance Stroll, his teammate, is directly ahead. Brilliant. Who's ready for an Aston Martin scrap? There's a reason why Alonso was the champion last year. He was the lead Aston Martin, wants to be the lead Aston Martin again, and he goes the long way round at turn 9, and that's the move complete on his teammate. P5 for Fernando Alonso in this race. Here we go, down into the braking zone, and is that going to be an issue? Lance Stroll, he was having such a good race. Such a good race till that point. Yes, he's just been overtaken, but that was exactly what Lance Stroll wanted. The driver who finished 20th last year in the standings. Charles Leclerc comes into the pit lane then for Ferrari. Hards go off, mediums go on, back into the fast lane. And we wait to see him rejoining the road, getting his foot to the floor. Here's the chance then. Lewis Hamilton versus Ollie Bearman down to the braking zone. We know how Oliver Bearman can be with his defense. We saw that in Formula 2. Hamilton, the driver who's just been given a 10-second time penalty, wants something that can go in the highlights reel by the end of today. He's trying to make a superb move on Ollie Bearman, who's part of that Ferrari Academy, and he is giving them a reason right now to question why he's not in that main car. With the way that he's defending, he's trying to show off his talent, he's trying to show off his skill. He's going to have to do more of that when we get down to turn number 1. Hamilton cannot get by. This is fantastic from Oliver Bearman. As we take a look at a replay, there we go, full analysis coming in from our producer, showing the yellows coming out and Hamilton making the overtake. Does the move finally happen at turn number 9, where we've seen most of them happen so far? It does, and Hamilton takes 12th position. Fair play, Oliver Bearman gave it his all, but when Hamilton had the chance, he was able to move on by. Don't tell me Ollie Behrman's going to fight back. He's closing in, he's closing in. Yellow flags are flying on the circuit, and Carlos Sainz is the reason why.
I cannot believe it. No, this is unfair.
That is not the start to the season that he wanted. Look at this from Hulkenberg. Does he sense an opportunity? Ocon there as well. They're both attacking Oliver Behrman. Here we go. Around the outside will go the Kick-Sauber man. Kick-Sauber versus Haas at this stage. And Kick-Sauber emerges in front. Hulkenberg gets past Ollie Behrman. Now between the Haas's. This is Hulkenberg. This is the replay that we see first of all. A nice tidy pass around the outside. Had to leave space on the inside, but did so perfectly. Nice stuff there. Gasly putting pressure on Alexander Albon. We've seen Juan Williams go off and out of this race due to an issue. We're seeing Juan Williams locking up down in the braking zone. Here comes Gasly, final stages of this race, trying to pull off a brave move, and he is going to pull off a brave move. That is for 6th position that Gasly is able to possess now. Albon will see whether he can do anything to fight back. There was so much fighting at the start of this race between Verstappen, Piastri. They were both battling with Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc, ever since then, was able to pull away and get himself to the position to be coming out of the final corner on the 58th and last lap, weaving to the checkered flag. Charles Leclerc wins the season opening race. What a way to start off his season. A driver who's been very unlucky in the past. Could it be his year?
We won it! Yes! 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 Yes, yes, yes!
Look at the emotion of the winning driver realizing that he started off the season in the best possible way into the hands of his team. Let's take a look at our results then from our season opening race. It completely belongs to Charles Leclerc. Norris in second. Verstappen definitely doesn't want to see too much of McLaren. But McLaren has shown they're competitive, so you will have to deal with them. It was Piastri in 4th, Alonso in 5th, Gasly in 6th, Albon in 7th. What a result for Gabriel Bortoleto in 8th. And then it was Russell in 9th. Doohan showing why he should have got that chance in Formula 1 much more earlier on. He finished in 10th place for Alpine. The fastest lap, of course, went to our race winner, understandably so. Nearly 40 seconds clear of the field. Lewis Hamilton in 11th, Lawson in 12th, Hulkenberg in 13th. Then it was Ocon, Behrman, Isaac Hadjar, Yuki Tsunoda. Our retirements were Carlos Sainz, Lance Stroll, and Andrea Kimi Antonelli. And our eyes will turn to our next contest of this season. It's going to be some season coming our way. And let's take a look at your standings. Of course, to see Charles Leclerc have a 25-point tally. And then it's Lando Norris in second with 18. Max Verstappen with 15 at the moment. It's going to be a fascinating fight coming our way across this entire season. And we head to Bahrain International. That is going to be our next venue coming up. All of the drivers in your picture right now, they're going to have to come up with something to score some points under the lights. And I think with what we've seen around Bahrain, it's going to be fascinating to see who's going to emerge in front and what battling we're going to get. We saw some great overtaking and battling here. So now, at Bahrain, with a DRS zone to turn 1, a DRS zone down to turn 4 and turn 11, there's going to be passing galore. We cannot wait for that. The Constructors' Championship sees McLaren with a 5-point advantage over Ferrari due to Hamilton's disappointing result in 11th. And then it was Red Bull in 3rd with 15. They're 5 ahead of Aston Martin. And then it's Alpine, Williams, Sauber, along with Mercedes. They have 2 points. What a terrible start to the season for them. Next up, Bahrain, and we cannot wait to see you there when we continue our journey across this 12-round calendar.